came, we saw, we SEC Media Dayed. And now we're just two crash test dummies just riding down the street, going home, doing a podcast. Producer Pat, Carl Prather on the ones and twos. Yes, we are safe. We have our seatbelts on. We are en route back to North Alabama, the great state of Alabama, the Yellowhammer State. Driving, thought we'd do a quick little podcast. Hey, we can do a little Rand McNally. Kids, Rand McNally, he had maps. And we used to have maps before we had, what was those things called? What were the first Magellans, I guess is what you call them?
I'm not that old, so yeah.
You didn't have
I remember MapQuest.
You always had navigation?
Yeah. Well, no, I've always had MapQuest. You'd have to print them.
Yeah, so that was you had MapQuest. That was new and super awesome. You could print them when you had to go somewhere, but we just did the Rand McNally maps. I used to love those things. We said all of that to say we are going to talk football. Producer Pat, Carl Prather. Yeah, it's take after take. It's the SEC big recap. So we recapped day 1, and then to be brutally honest, we had zero time to do anything else because we didn't go outside in Atlanta. Pat, tell them what we ate every day for dinner.
We ate at the Top Lounge Sports Bar 4 straight nights. I had everything on the menu, I think, at least once. Yep.
They knew us by name. It was kind of awesome. It's like, kids, there was a show called Cheers where everybody knows your name is what he used to say. It was a slogan. But yeah, I ate chicken wings one night, ate a burger, ate a chicken sandwich one night. But yeah, we legitimately did not leave out and go outside but one time. And the one time that we went outside, it was because we had to do a television live shot, a live hit on Monday. But other than that, we did not see outside. We have either been in a vehicle going to and from inside of the Omni Atlanta, who were amazing, hospitable guests, and that's it. So there you have it. But what we did do is talk a lot of football with all 16 programs within the Southeastern Conference. Patrick and I mentioned it during our first podcast from recapping day 1. Man, it's super cool because I just became more encouraged with kind of the stars in the house this week. We'll start with this before we start getting into teams and thinking about breakdowns and things of that nature from 50,000 feet. Give me a couple of guys that were there that you came away impressed with, but more importantly, maybe kind of gave you more of a reason why you believe that their respective programs could thrive and have a big year.
DJ Lagway looked like $1 million and carried himself like $1 million.
If you didn't, folks, I don't know if you had an opportunity to hear him on the SEC Network or anything of that nature. DJ Lagway sounded like he was a 7-year veteran in the National Football League for a franchise. That's how polished he was. I was thoroughly impressed, and it's great when your teammates and your head coach all speak your praises as well. But I mean, the suit, the way he handled himself, the way he walked, everything. He fit the bill relative to everything off the football field. Now, obviously, you're going to be graded on what you do on the football field, and that was pretty darn good in the spots that he was in a season ago, all while battling an injury. But man, was he polished, Patrick.
Yeah, he looked like he's going to be somebody's franchise quarterback in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
For and probably be extremely successful. He might turn into the best quarterback in the nation at the end of this season. If you think about it, he has one more season left to go. Also, Lenore Sellers, I thought, looked great.
Yeah.
Again, SEC is going to be a quarterback-driven league. A fan favorite at the very end, Zion Young, who I believe plays on the defensive line for Missouri.
Zion, let me tell you something, my brother.
Funniest guy at SEC Media Day.
He for sure won the talking season week of festivities.
Got a standing ovation.
Yeah, I gave him a standing ovation. We clapped for him. What was really cool is Zion played in Michigan State. He's from Greater Atlanta and transferred to Missouri to play for Eli Drinkwitz. So Coach Drink talked about his personality when we had an opportunity to hear from him. But man, Zion came in. He was amazing. And that's, I get it. When you get to day 3 and day 4, it's kind of all runs together from the standpoint of everyone wants to work hard. Everyone is excited. Everyone is has the chip on their shoulder.
But this is the closest team we've ever had.
Yeah, with the what is not the chemistry. What's the other one? The culture is great.
Yeah.
Listen, we get all these words. It's blase. Like, we understand that. We're here for them. but it's really refreshing from time to time when you have a guy that just spoke from the heart. He just legitimately you wouldn't have known that there was anyone else in the media room, but him and maybe a few of his teammates. It was really, really cool to see. So he did a fantastic job, a really solid player as well. So he was great for me. DJ is at the top of the list for me as well. Just as he was great. I'll tell you, Taylor Green was great on the final day. I liked what he had to say. I'm also very intrigued a little bit by like the size of these guys that without pads. Some of the guys are like maybe smaller than what I thought, but DJ Lightway is a pretty big kid, and then of course Taylor Green is 6'6". I mean, my goodness, he was big, and then Lenore Sellers also was a fairly nice size quarterback there. But those were some of the favorites. They were great. The Auburn kids were great. The Alabama kids were great as well. But now we kind of get into the thick of things. In the next week or two, we got Big Ten Media Days that's happening next week. That'll be a big one. I'll be really tuned in attentively to watch that. I love Media Days across all the different conferences. I watch them all. But Patrick, we're about to get into fall camp. So in 2 weeks, Bama, Auburn, everyone will be getting ready. And August 30th and preferably August 29th for Auburn will be here rather quickly when they take on Baylor. Thoughts from teams as a whole relative to understanding we've kind of briefly looked at depth charts and kind of seen where teams are at relative to, what their team looks like as far as the roster, returning players within the transfer portal that have moved on to either enhance or move on to another team. But teams immediately that jump out to you that you say, I'm intrigued.
I mean, I think I want to see what Alabama looks like a second year under Coach DeBoer.
Yep.
Because we know what kind of talent is potentially there. Offensive line should be stout. They should be able to run the football. Ryan Williams on the outside is a stud. It's just the question is at quarterback. We didn't get a definitive answer this week that Ty Simpson is the starter, but it seems as if that is at least the popular choice to start the season. Now, whether or not Ty Simpson finishes the season as Alabama's starting quarterback remains to be seen, right? We got a guy like Austin Mack is waiting in the wings as well, a guy that Coach DeBoer knows. Also, Keelan Russell, highly touted freshman coming in that Coach DeBoer spoke really highly of during his press conference. I mean, that is the big question for Alabama is, will Ty Simpson or whoever the starting quarterback is be able to play more within Coach DeBoer's offense that wants to distribute the football? And if that happens, how many more wins does that equate for Alabama? Because you have to think, going back to last year, if they got more solid, consistent quarterback play out of Jalen Milroe, they're for sure a playoff team.
No question.
If not a contending for a national championship type team. So I'm curious to see what that is. And then also, everyone likes to pick their underdogs this season, right? The Cinderella stories. I've heard there's been some talk about Auburn. There's been some talk about Florida. Obviously, South Carolina, Texas A&M. All these teams just can't be good in the SEC. Like, somebody's going to, just the way the schedule works out, somebody's going to have to lose like 5 to 6 games.
So, you mentioned a lot of those teams, and I think, I've been speaking the praises of John Mateer in Oklahoma for a long time. He's got his offensive coordinator there with him in Norman. How I feel about Deion Burks as a wide receiver, even though he's kind of been, limited in his competition on the football field because of injury. But you got Jaden Nye coming over from Cal, a revamped offensive line under Coach Beatable like that. You would hope that can have an opportunity to be able to make some things work on that side of the football. But, the reason why I've been so bullish on Oklahoma is I love their defense. I think their defensive line is great. Art Thomas, we had opportunity to hear from him. He was great too. But they're kind of discussing his role there. And then, on the back end, they got some really good players in the secondary. I don't know. You mentioned it. It's funny. We all talk about teams that have an opportunity, a chance to do this or a chance to do that. But, ultimately, there are some teams that are going to have to lose. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There are teams that are going, everyone's not going to go 11-0. Some teams are going to be disappointed. But, no, I really, really, really like Oklahoma. I think they're going to be a little bit more run-heavy based on what John Mateer can do. I will tell you the team that I just, to me, and what say you when I say this? Man, Auburn seemed very confident heading into fall camp. It was almost a matter-of-factly like thing. I know a lot of reports have went out to say that they have one of the top 5 rosters money-wise in all of college football. So it's almost like they feel that, they're ready for the moment now. And, Hugh had mentioned it throughout the entire day on Tuesday for Auburn. They embrace the high expectations. They are like, hey, we want to win now. And let's just be real. They went at a high clip this year. The recruiting and everything else around that, boosters, collective, all of that flourishes, right?
Yeah. I mean, they got probably top 2, top 3 transfer portal player in Eric Singleton Jr.
No question.
He got there. Like, that guy's going to be a difference maker. Again, much like Alabama, it comes down to the quarterback position, right? If Jackson Arnold can distribute the ball, be the point guard like what he said he was coached up to do during the summer, and that's his mindset going into the fall. Like, if he can do that, and if they can take care of the football, we know that defense is going to be a little spicy. So, I mean, yeah, but again, you look at all these teams, it's like they got a tough schedule. Like, a lot of these teams have, Florida's got the toughest schedule in the country. But what happens if they string it together and pull out some of these wins? Like, the SEC is really still just a murderer's row. We didn't even talk about LSU. A lot of people really like LSU to make the playoff. Like, they have to play tough opponents. So, including LSU, they got to play Clemson week 1.
Yeah.
So, it's, not pump the brakes. I still think the SEC is king. There was a lot of talk about that foolishly during media days, like, does the SEC need to win a national championship to have something to prove? Which is an idiotic take. Like, just look at the last 25, 30, 40 years of college football has been SEC dominated. Yeah. Even in the NFL draft, the SEC gets more players drafted than in any other conference in the nation. So they don't have to win a national championship to prove anything or to get right. But it is a murderer's row inside that conference. And you heard a lot of talk, especially from the coaches, I think, when they were sort of asked about college football playoff and expansion. I think the SEC is still very much pissed off that SMU made the playoff last year.
It's funny you mentioned that, because if you listen while we were there at media days to some of the coaches and they were discussing the playoff format, it was almost like they didn't want to say or disrespect SMU, and rightfully so. Listen, I still believe and I stand on that SMU belonged, Indiana belonged, but I do believe that just they didn't say it, but it was almost like with their the way that they would discuss the playoff and teams within the league that maybe didn't make it last year, that they were kind of directing a lot of their ire toward SMU. If you think about it, it wasn't like anyone said anything about Indiana, because I think that everybody understands that Indiana belonged. Like, you got to think about it. Like, even last season, it wasn't the fact that, Indiana didn't play anybody. It was like they were beating the living you-know-what out of teams. And then the team that they did lose to in Ohio State, they had the closest loss to Ohio State of anyone else that they played outside of Michigan. So I think a lot of coaches are a little frustrated from the standpoint of they believe that maybe some of the three of the, maybe one more of the 9-3 teams in that fray there at the end of the year maybe should have gotten in over SMU. Even though SMU can, of course, rally back to make that game interesting down the stretch in the ACC championship game. So I get that. I wanted to move toward and ask you, we always talk about teams that we believe that have an opportunity to take the next leap or make the biggest jump, the surprise team, the most improved team. Who's the team that you believe that many have a lot of expectations on that may drop a notch or may be a little lackluster as we head into the end of the season and kind of don't understand why?
I know what you're doing. You're teeing me up to say something that you know that I'm going to say.
That's it.
I think the team is Georgia. And the reason you're teeing me up is because you want me to say that I don't believe in Gunnar Stockton, because I was watching his press conference and just the lack of energy and just the lack of any kind of charisma. I'm out on that guy. But and I'm probably going to be wrong. Okay. I know he's a gamer.
You saying that, you're going to be wrong.
I know. I said it probably. I didn't say anything definite like that. I'm probably going to. And as you dropping your mic.
Yeah, it's all good. I promise you, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine.
We're doing this podcast on the road.
We're doing well. We're doing great, sweetie.
I just didn't. I just was watching Gunnar Stockton, and I was like, I don't know. I don't see it. And maybe it's just because it's being unfair, right? Because we saw John Mateer, and we didn't even mention Arch Manning, by the way. Which, real quick side note, we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
United Nations.
I have been on the inside now in media days to see how the media is reacting to Arch Manning. Listeners out there, I promise you, if this kid is good, it's going to be insufferable.
I agree.
This dude is a superstar. The most cameras out of anybody in media.
No
days.
question.
Not even close.
Wasn't even close. It was funny. So the way that they have this, folks, is they have us divvied up, right? So, you have your national media, the SEC network television and stuff. They have their own area, rightfully so. SEC network, houses the Southeastern Conference media days and whatnot. And then, local television across the country, but more importantly in the Southeastern footprint of the country that cover these teams and have these teams in their cities, in their DMAs. They have us in an electronic media room, which is beautiful. And we kind of have the players to ourselves individually, one by one, along with the coaches. And I remember watching, we have the screen that they were inside the Hall of Fame so we could see and feed into where the players and coaches were at before they came to us. And Arch Manning was just unreal. He had the most cameras. You couldn't even see him at one point when he was doing his breakout individual one-on-ones. And we thought that the most of the print media that were interviewing him there from a digital media standpoint were going to come over to our TV side, and they didn't. But man, listen, we get it. If it was Arch Smith, I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. Not say big of a deal. It's Texas, right? So the quarterback is always going to be you're going to be popular, but it's just the fact that the mystique of the Manning, and he's shown enough that makes you believe that he can flat out play. And he's playing on, arguably the number 1 or number 2 team preseason in the country as well. So yeah, it was really cool for him, for us to see that, and amazing personality. I really, we were talking to other media members this week, and a couple of people from Texas and stuff. And I just appreciate Arch Manning being him. Everyone's talking about he had to have button up answers and questions, stuff no, he legitimately is his own person. And I think that is won over his locker room, the way that he wants to be one of them within that locker room. And obviously, listen, this player is going to do the talking, right? The guy's only, attempted 95 passes in Texas. But I think this has all has went according to plan, and I think Steve Sarkisian is ready to kind of let him rip. He looks like an entirely different person than what he did coming into Texas, and rightfully so. You got to, get yourself developed, body right, nutrition, the whole nine. But I would be utterly shocked if he didn't have a big year. I keep going around thinking about teams but I think I'm afraid to stand on as my man Eli Drinker would say, stand on business, because I look at Alabama and I look at Auburn and I look at Georgia, and I can't move away from the fact that I don't believe all 3 of those teams will have double-digit wins, right? But then I'm bullish on Oklahoma, and we don't know if this is going to work, Patrick. That's the crazy part. We see the John Mateer, and for those that love, watch college football like we do at Washington State, and his offensive coordinator brought along with them. How do we know that this is really going to work? And I hope that it does, but that's the caveat. So that's why I always have kind of pause for cause to kind of anoint an Oklahoma or South Carolina when we don't know what this looks like. Lenore Sellers is fantastic, right? He's an eraser. Dylan Stewart is an eraser on the other end of the other side of the football for South Carolina. But there's a lot of guys, man, last year that really propelled this team to the 9 wins and on the cusp of a college football playoff. And that defense was really the catalyst for that as well, Patrick. So, man, I'm torn. I know we'll get to we'll pick our top 2 to go to Atlanta here in a moment, but am I wrong for saying that? I think that Oklahoma's going to work, but man, they actually got to go out and do it. Listen, we go round and round about LSU. We had a great conversation with some fellow TV folks that work out of Baton Rouge and cover LSU on a daily basis. And, part of you says, for me, when we were discussing Brian Kelly's record in the first podcast, part of me says the guy has won a lot of football games everywhere he's been. And this team is, to me, his by far most complete team. It's not that it doesn't have flaws. Offensive line, we don't know what that looks like. But it's just a mere fact that you still have to say to yourself, like, they actually have to go and do it. And can they get over the threshold to the 10-win mark? Because to me, if you're at the 10-win mark at a P4 level, especially in SEC, you're probably right in the thing. You're probably going to go to the playoff. But, teams have to actually do it. We have to actually see Garrett Nussmeier, and we have to actually see that program go to Death Valley, go to Clemson, and beat another team that many consider being a playoff team as well. So from the outside looking in, am I wrong for what I'm saying? Like, that teams have to, I actually have to see this. I can project it, but we actually have to see this on the football field.
No, which makes it crazy when I say something like Georgia's going to take a step back when Kirby Smart's probably, if not the best coach in college football, the second best at worst. And it doesn't seem to matter who's on his team. Georgia's always in the thick of things. Right. But, it's people falling in love with the unknown, right? They see the exciting play of John Mateer when he was at Washington State. They see the shiny new toy and Garrett Nussmeier and LSU and what that might be. Florida, South Carolina, same thing. And, if you're Mike Elko and company down at College Station, you're like, well, hey, we were one win away from being in the SEC championship game ourselves. No one's picking us. No. And nobody's even talking about Marcel Reed. What happens if he takes a gigantic step forward? That's a talented team down there in Texas A&M. So, yeah, again, it just goes back to, even if you're pretty good, that might not be good enough for the SEC. Like, if you dropped Ole Miss into the ACC, they're probably perennial conference champions, but they're having to play in the Southeastern Conference, and it makes it tough.
I would venture to say that coming into this season, 1 through 16, this is no disrespect to Mississippi State and Jeff Levy, who I think is a fantastic play caller. They still have a little ways to go. You're 2-10 coming into this year. There's no one that can project Mississippi State to what they can be. All you want to say is, hey, can they improve on that? Maybe get to 4 wins, right? Some of your better players, Mario Cravers of the world, they're gone. Outside of them, can we put Kentucky in that category? I don't know. We don't know anything. If anyone says they know anything about the Kentucky Wildcats football program, you're lying, because we've not gotten anything from Mark Stoops, who, I didn't even realize this. Mark Stoops, folks, the most tenured coach in all of the Southeastern Conference, entering in his 13th year. So if I just say, take out Mississippi State and Kentucky, and I got 1 through 14, how far off are teams 7 through 14 relative to 6-1?
Well, who was the 14 team last year? Was it Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
That beat the number 1 team in the nation?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where you start with Diego Pavia coming into this season. Is going to be one of football's most exciting players. We saw what he did in the Alabama game, willing his team to victory. So, yeah, I think you kind of have 2 really bad teams in the SEC in Mississippi State and Kentucky. No offense to those programs. And then when you start from Vanderbilt on, every one of those teams, Arkansas is going to beat somebody they're probably going to have no business beating this season. Same with Vanderbilt. They're going to pull another upset. And then, it doesn't get longer. You get South Carolina, Texas A&M, Florida, all of these teams, Oklahoma, Texas. Texas is going to lose. You telling me, Arkansas can't, or Texas A&M can't end up beating Texas or one of these other teams? So, it's tough, man. I mean, a lot has been made, and a lot of people ask sort of generic questions like, oh, how tough is it to play in the SEC? And then the coaches, give a generic answer. But if you really just stop and think about it, it is extremely hard to just go on the road and play at a place like Arkansas.
Correct.
Or South Carolina or
Absolutely.
Kentucky on a Saturday night. It's just different. We see teams doing it. Jordan Hare is the best example, right? How many bad Auburn teams have beaten really good teams because that fan base is just rabid on a Saturday night down there?
I think Texas has the best roster, which is really crazy to say in a matter of 2 seasons of them being there. But I like Texas's roster. I give the slight edge to them over Georgia. I think Alabama, of course, is in the mix there, and then you could have your choosing from there. But if Arch Manning is what many characterize him to potentially be, they'll be the most complete team in the league, right? I don't think that's a coincidence. I mean, they have it all. But it is going to be really interesting to see how Oklahoma continues to develop and evolve within the Southeastern Conference, because we may have thought that they were a little behind relative to a lot of the other teams in the country. So I don't. Man, it's just, in this day and age of the transfer report, it's just so hard. Like, guys are plug and play, but how do those guys fit? Like, how do these guys fit there? Like, you mentioned, Georgia, and you mentioned Gunnar Stockton. I think Gunnar Stockton can play. I know the sample size is incredibly short and small, rather, relative to some of your other players there. But I genuinely think he can play and do enough to elevate Georgia's play. I could be wrong, and I know there are some out in media land that believe that Georgia, Alabama, one of those two teams is going to take a step back. So, like, if you had to, would you lean toward Georgia being the team that takes a step back if you had to choose between those two?
Yeah, I would, because I just think Alabama's offensive line, coupled with Ryan Williams, coupled with some other guys.
Jam Williams, a running back. Jam Miller, rather.
Jam Miller. I just think that they're going to be good enough to just keep things afloat, even if the quarterback position is a little chaotic like it was last year. I don't see for Georgia the difference maker on the outside. I don't think they have a Ryan Williams type of player there. Right. And so I think it is going to be more on the quarterback, much like it kind of was last year with Carson Beck, to kind of elevate that whole team. And I just don't know if Gunnar can do it. And like I told you, I'm a vibes guy. Man, I'm not in hearing these stats. I'm just going off these vibes. And then I watch the kid up there. No disrespect. I'm sure it's hard to sit up there and answer questions about all these people, and you're trying to formulate an answer on the spot. But I didn't see it from the guy.
I think it'll be fine, and I think a lot of that can be stage fright. You see all these, like, you never done been in that situation. Guess what? He doesn't win any ball games talking to us in the media, like we all know during media days. But yeah, Patrick, I'm just on the fence, man. I just have a hard time. I have a very difficult time believing and understanding how someone like a Texas, a Georgia, and Alabama can fall under the 9-win mark. Like, maybe it's just because I'm a prisoner of a long set of moments that they've been playing at such a high level, but I just don't see it, man. So then that, begs to question, what does the middle of the league look like? Like, is Diego Pavia, do they have more in the arsenal with Tim Beck as the OC? Where does Arkansas, as you mentioned, range there with Taylor Green and company? How much better can they be?
Tennessee.
We don't know. Joey Aguilar had to come there like on in the 11th hour when Nico Iamaleava left, but he's a veteran guy. What if he runs the system to the liking of Josh Heupel, and then eventually is able to kind of thrive in this system? So I guess what we could say is that the Southeastern Conference may be as competitive from top to bottom as it's been in quite some time.
Oh yeah, I think that's without question. There are no cupcakes. I mean, even a team like Mississippi State that might be perceived as a cupcake, like, it's tough to go to Starkville and play with those cowbells ringing. And with the transfer portal and all this stuff, it's like we kind of talked about earlier in the week. It makes it really hard for a guy like Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State, because
we discussed that.
If you recruit a kid and you hit on him, chances are you are not going to have the resources to keep said kid in Starkville.
Right.
And the big dogs of the SEC, the Bamas, the Georgias, the Texas, they're just the Texas A&Ms of the world. They're just going to come get him and poach him from you. We saw a ton of guys this season in the transfer portal go from SEC school to SEC school. And I don't know, in this new era of college football, and this was a theme last season on our podcast, the gap between the haves and the have-nots is going to continue to widen.
Yeah, roster retention is just, you might as well just throw it out of the window, because even Sam Pittman mentioned it today at the end of media days, basically having to re-recruit his roster. I think every coach has to do that. and he understands guys are going to be leaving. He made a very poignant point, though, which was interesting. He talked about the 2 transfer portal windows, and one of them being after spring, and he believes that should be completely abolished. Like he said, in no certain words, basically, I've gotten a team put together and constructed to get ready for spring football, and then as soon as spring football is over, basically, like, some of these guys are just going to be like, see ya.
Yeah.
So, like, what is it really worth? We should just have one, at the beginning of the year and keep it open for a couple of weeks. And then, once you're done there, then you're on set team until next year.
I think you could really tell the frustration from these coaches this week of just about the lack of clarity on the revenue sharing and the new salary cap and this transfer portal stuff. Like, it feels like all these dudes are just burning the candle at both ends, trying to do things that they probably didn't. For sure, they didn't have to do 5 years ago. Like talking about Sam Pittman. Like,
right.
I got to keep recruiting after we do spring ball. Like, right. I'm supposed to already have it all locked down. And the sad part about it is that none of these coaches really have any kind of power to change these rules. This is coming down to ADs and university presidents and whatnot. And even in some situations, coming down to state legislators, right? Like, it was brought up to Josh Heupel. Of course, he dodges the question as elegantly as he can because he's not in any position of power. But, like, the House revenue sharing thing comes down, and the state of Tennessee passes its own legislation.
Right.
And so now there's confusion about whether the University of Tennessee, since it gets public funds, even has to follow this House mandate. So there are so many questions up there, and I think with these coaches' frustration in particular, they don't see any kind of definite answer coming down the pike anytime soon. So it's just like they're going to have to do this football season, and then next off season they're going to go into this, and it's going to be this same thing, if not even more questions revolving around salary cap and rosters and all this stuff.
Give me one team that you believe that will make not only some noise, but could make a deep run in the college football playoff.
Oh boy! Well, I don't know. Make note, like, because I think South Carolina's a team, but like everyone's kind of picking them, so I don't know if they're coming out of the blue. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. It just goes back to what I was discussing about Oklahoma, man. Like, and maybe even Auburn for that, man. Like, we have to see it. We don't know, man. We just don't know what this is like now. It could hit.
I mean, but you're betting on, like, a guy like Lenore Sellers, who is dynamic and happens to play the most important position in all of sports. And so then you could go down south and at a guy like Billy Napier in Florida. Could be the same thing with DJ Lagway. Like, if DJ Lagway becomes the best quarterback in the nation this year and has, scouts and teams looking to get in that 2027 draft when he's eligible to come out, then, I mean, that makes a world of difference for that guy. Like, you could see Florida making a deep playoff run. Now, they happen to have the toughest schedule in the entire country.
You ain't lying.
But you heard Billy Napier. He tweeted out, "Spot the ball." Like, they're ready to go. They're ready to go. And I think you have that kind of confidence when you have a guy like Lagway under center.
Are you surprised that no one talks? We don't discuss Taylor Green as more than what we should at Arkansas?
I mean, I think it's just because he's at Arkansas. If he was in a different spot, I think if he was down at Auburn, it would be different. If he was at Texas A&M, it would be different. He just happens to be at Arkansas, which, every 6 to 7 to 8 years has a good team, and this might be the one. This might be the Taylor Green led team at Arkansas. I think it would just be different if he was at another spot.
Moving toward another one of our favorites. Your thoughts on Diego Pavia in Vanderbilt, but more importantly, Pavia be entertaining us at media days?
I mean, yeah, he's a character for sure. I would love to know what schools approached him to get him to leave this offseason and why he chose to stay at Vanderbilt, because I would imagine there were probably teams that maybe were higher on the prestige rankings than a Vanderbilt that maybe came calling, and he decided to stay. The reports out there, a couple $1 million he was offered to get to transfer out, and that was a theme throughout a bunch of these quarterbacks we heard for this offseason. Multi-million-dollar deals to get some of these guys to move. And for the most part, I don't think there was, other than Nico, there was no other SEC quarterback that moved, right?
No, and that's a testament to said teams and organizations, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, Vanderbilt might be awful this year too.
Wait a minute.
I mean, they could be. They could win 4 games.
Really?
I mean, yeah, they went 7-6 last year. So, I mean, it could change in an instant. Like you said, the portal, it changes these rosters every single season.
Could you see South Carolina going 75 or 8-4?
Yeah, I could see that too. There would be nothing in the SEC outside of a Kentucky or a Mississippi State winning double-digit wins that would surprise me. Nothing. Like if you told me Texas A&M had 1 loss at the end of the season, I'd be like, yeah, I could see that.
That's fair. No one's talking about Texas A&M, Patrick. We don't hear anything about them.
Nothing.
And they maybe arguably have one of the 3 best rosters, 4 best rosters in the league.
Not only that, but go back to last season. There's probably 4 to 5 plays that if it breaks in their favor, that it's a completely different season for them.
Right.
And yeah, it is. Again, I think it goes back to they have maybe a question at quarterback with Marcel Reed, but I think of all the teams that have maybe questions at quarterback, that one has sort of the most potential to kind of kickstart this program to where it does take the next step. As you just go all over the, people can hear all this stuff.
Hey man, makes it.
I can't take out you going on the other side of the road.
Special effects, man. I was trying to dodge this dead squirrel over here.
This is this was a bad idea.
This is a great idea.
We should not have done that.
We should get, don't reality TV, don't they have like those GoPros that, like when they're doing the car scenes and stuff?
Yeah.
We should do that. We should do it.
No, because you're driving. This is a station car. You don't want to incriminate yourself.
Nah.
We've already got the sound effects. We'll have to just put a disclaimer that I put those in post so that people don't think you're just swerving over here down all around northeast Alabama in these mountains.
You're a movie buff. You watch Cannonball Run?
I ain't never seen Cannonball Run.
Are you? What?
Yeah, what movie's that?
I don't know.
Who's in that one?
I don't know. It's just something about racing.
Oh, okay.
What about Smoking the Bandit?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
You just do that.
Yeah. What were we talking about before you went into the median?
We're on this beautiful road, and it's windy, and it's just so beautiful.
I'm glad to be in the Central Time Zone. That's what I'm bad about.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that too. So he was a curmudgeon this week because he was mad that we were on the Eastern Time Zone in Atlanta.
I don't know how people do it.
I was born and raised in Eastern Time. Dude,
I don't know. I don't know how people do it. It's the one you'd be like, oh, the 1 hour difference doesn't make it. It's not that big. It is. It's humongous.
The only reason why it made a difference this week is because we were incredibly busy. That's it. That's the only reason why. If you were normal, if we didn't have as much 17-hour work days, it would be fine. But it was like we went to one room to go to another room to go to a sports bar to eat and to go to sleep, and then you snapped your fingers and we were up again.
Yeah, and it was like
it was terrible.
The stuff didn't come on until like 8 o'clock, and then we're not sitting down to eat dinner till like 10. And I'm like, I'm ready to go to bed.
Every night.
This is terrible.
Did we ever eat any dinner before 7 p.m.?
No, not even close. We didn't eat a dinner before 9:30.
Correct. Every day.
And I had burgers pretty much all the time. I even ordered a chicken sandwich. They brought out another burger.
They did. That chicken sandwich was fire, though.
It was good. I mean, it was some decent food.
It was decent.
But Eastern, I'm glad to be back Central Time Zone. Eastern Time Zone, I don't know how people could do that for their entire lives. It's insane.
Tell me why LSU will not go to the playoffs.
Because they have Brian Kelly as a head coach who tends to choke in big time moments. Okay. And they will lose. They'll be 9-4 again, or 10-3, or even better yet, they might put together a historic regular season run and then probably flame out in spectacular fashion in the playoffs.
When we were discussing LSU with the other media members from Baton Rouge and Shreveport, we were just kind of discussing what would quiet the noise that's currently at LSU.
Well,
now.
First of all, don't bury the lead. They were on my side about Brian Kelly. That should be pointed out for all the listeners, because you've made me feel crazy because it's only me talking to you, and you've gaslit me into thinking, oh, maybe I'm wrong about it. And then we talked to 2 people from Baton Rouge, and they're like, nope, everybody down there feels the exact same way, and I felt vindicated. let's put that out for the listeners.
Why do you wait a minute? So there's, of course, because this is Tennessee Titans are going 17-0. There's context in all of this, right? So basically, the smart person in this whole shooting match, i.e., me, looked at both of the Baton Rouge folks, and I literally threw out all of the reasons why he's a top 10 coach, because he is. Number two, yes, we act like Brian Kelly's never won a big game. He's had some monumental collapses and beatdowns in his career.
Yes.
But let's not act like this guy's out here not won countless big games. Like, so when I started breaking that down to our media friends in Baton Rouge, they looked at me and they were like, yeah. And I basically said, at the end of the day, what will have to happen is, for me, all LSU has to do is just reach the playoff. And everything for LSU, from an organizational standpoint, their recruiting, everything's in place for them to really take off. You can just look at the recruiting rankings; it tells you as such. But they have everything, and this is in his fourth year. This is his most complete team. And I remember we were discussing it with the media members. They were like, "Well, Brian Kelly, had a Heisman Trophy winner and had
two first-round receivers.
Hey, Florida had Tim Tebow and had a way better team when he won Heisman than LSU's ever had in his tenure, and they went 9-4. So, like, there's always context in Heisman Trophy winners. Heisman Trophy winners are like, I'm sorry, can that make said guys in position tackle? Like, what? I'm lost. So I just said, all I say is that Brian Kelly, to me, you need to go to the playoff. I think he's going to go to the playoff, and every LSU fan known to man will be right back on the bandwagon if they beat Clemson on the road.
Which they won't. They will lose first game of the season. It will get really loud in old Baton Rouge, and by the end of the season, the people will be on my side. I have felt vindicated throughout this entire SEC media days when it comes to Brian Kelly. Two people on the ground, Baton Rouge, two esteemed journalists, ear to the ground, the fans of LSU, on the side of yours truly.
Yeah, I know a lot of Georgia fans that felt the same way when Kirby was losing to Alabama all the time. I heard the same thing heck, case in point, here we are year 2, and it's murmurs across the board for one Kalen DeBoer. Hey, help me out. Kalen DeBoer who did he lose to in Nashville? They wanted to run him out. We had Alabama fans, and please correct me if I'm wrong, mad about what this man is wearing on the sideline.
That is true.
So if they're doing that there, what in the world do you think they're doing in one of the greatest states in this country, the boot, aka Louisiana? Those wonderful people in Louisiana love LSU football, and they have had more pain and suffering than they've had success. Like, does anyone remember that Nick Saban brought them that first championship in eons? And then the time between then and Les Miles won a national championship with 2 losses. And then after, so look at the spacing of the national championships. And you're talking about a Brian Kelly dude that walked into an absolute dumpster fire of a program in year 1, and then in year 2 has a Heisman Trophy winner, and in year 3 wins 9 games and going to go to the playoff in year 4. I think it's pretty good. And correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he beat number 1 team in said country 2 years ago at home?
He did. You like to bring that up too.
All the time. Didn't he? Hold on. Oh, what about that Ole Miss team last year? Who beat them?
LSU.
All I'm saying is that I think that Brian Kelly is one of the best coaches in college football, and just because you don't win a national championship doesn't solidify that you're a good coach. That you're not a good coach. The pantheon of great coaches are those that have won national championships. I'm not debating that. But what I am debating is that let's not act like Brian Kelly all of a sudden has forgotten how to coach or has never won a number of meaningful games. You got me completely. If we come into this year and we're here this time next year and they're 7-5 or whatever it may be, you got me. But this is, to me, all I'm just saying is that this is his most complete team relative to what the schedule looks like and all the pieces in place for them to potentially have a big year. And especially if they win the first game, sky's the limit. It's over with.
Well, 9-4 would be fun at the end of the season. See how those fans react. I'm done talking about Brian Kelly. First of all,
because you hate
he's not
him.
human.
Yeah,
he's not a human being.
That's cool. But he's a
even when he's answering questions SC Media Days, it's like
I personally thought
try hard.
I personally thought this week there were two programs that I felt that were very, very confident. Auburn and LSU. Like Brian Kelly was like being a fan of a team in South Bend and being able to watch and listen to him countless hours and for years while he was in South Bend. This is one of those times that I've heard he's very confident in this group, and rightfully so. I mean, we know what some of these guys can do on the offensive side of the football. Now, here's the one thing that I hope that happens this year. I think it would be wise to run the ball a little bit with Durham, who's fantastic, run it a little bit better, which can help alleviate a lot of concerns. I think running the football on the road in Death Valley would be ideal. But I will tell you this, I'd rather have someone like Garrett Nussmeier that's played a boatload of football than to take someone else in there and try to come away with a win. So I like LSU. I think the one team this year that I don't know. I really like Shane Beamer. I've never heard a bad thing about him. Have colleagues that cover that team on a daily basis.
He never put a guy up in a cherry picker in 50-mile-an-hour winds, so yeah.
Yeah, I was just talking about football, man. I mean, I didn't know we were going.
I just wanted to throw it out there every once in a while. Lest people forget. Continue.
Hold on. You act like wait a minute. Are you a fan of the National Football League?
Yeah.
We got people out here that have done some of the most heinous things ever.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they're not good football players.
Right, but they're not Brian Kelly.
Yeah, you just despise Brian Kelly.
Again, I'm not disputing that.
Okay, good. You do, but can you acknowledge that he is a really good football coach?
I take issue with the really good part.
Okay, so what part of really good that he's not?
35 and 34 against top 25 teams.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
By definition, that's average.
Yeah. So hold on. That's average. That's average in the league that he's played in Notre Dame, right? But in context, in those 34 losses, those 35 wins he has, and he's also took a team that was in the absolute doldrums, and you don't know because you didn't watch this team every year. Much like the Tennessee, like the San Francisco, the Tennessee Titans were identical to what the pain and suffering that you went through in your entire fandom of the Tennessee Titans. There was a moment in time that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the infrastructure, forget the players. Players matter, right? But just the infrastructure of what was constructed there and how business was conducted. Man, before Brian Kelly got there, you had players eating with other students.
What's wrong with that? Commodity.
No training table. Go tell that to any of the 16 teams in the SEC. You think they were eating with the other students? Absolutely not. So I credit Brian Kelly for what he was able to do with Notre Dame, and I do not believe that Marcus Freeman would be able to elevate Notre Dame to take them to another level if the groundwork wasn't laid for Brian Kelly and what he was able to accomplish there. Marcus Freeman, in my humble opinion, is just going to be able to take it over the top and thrive with Notre Dame. I've said this and I'll continue to say this about Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman, to me, is like Kirby Smart status. I think it's only a matter of time that I'll finally be able to watch that team from South Bend win a national championship. Put it this way, I feel more comfortable with them being in contention more than I ever have in my natural born life. So that's a good thing. But I think that Brian Kelly can stay at LSU for as long as he wants to and retire there if he were to win it. Just win one. I mean, because here's the thing. Relative to the other two coaches that won national championships, a la Ed Orgeron and Les Miles, I never thought at any time that was going to be sustainable. Like, we do know Brian Kelly consistently wins games, and if he can just win that, I think that could boast a big for LSU. So yeah, I agree. Brian Kelly, you got me. If you fall short of a playoff berth, you got some everybody got explaining to do that our think that you're one of the better coaches in the country because of the thing about it. The schedule is set up for you to do it. You got a veteran quarterback, arguably could be the number one pick in the draft. You got one first round talent. You got maybe in Barry Brown, another one. You got an absolute freak show, that true freshman, a true sophomore tight end. So yeah, we'll have to see. But I think everyone, I believe that more people than not, if we had to ask them, you have to pick playoff teams in the Southeastern Conference. I think in no certain form that LSU is going to be one of those teams. I think we both can agree. Outside, if we can't agree with LSU, I think we agree with Texas. I think Texas is going to for sure make it.
Yes.
Whether they win the conference championship or they win it, they go at large. But then we get into an interesting discussion. How dependent is Alabama on that quarterback position thriving, or can they piecemeal it, quote unquote, together and find a way to get to 10-2? Is that a thing? Can that happen?
I mean, if they just get, because the big problem with Jalen last year was actually throwing the football. So if they have a quarterback that can play on time and play within the system, I mean, even if he's just like a Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron type of quarterback, those two guys won national championships.
Correct.
So I think he just needs to be that. He doesn't need to be Tua. He doesn't need to be Bryce Young. He just needs to play within Kalen's system, get it out there to those freak athletes on the outside, run the rock, play sound defense, and I think they're going to be good. I think they will be a playoff team. I think Texas will be a playoff team. I mean, like I talked about Gunnar, not buying Gunnar Stockton stock, but I mean, it would not also surprise me if Georgia's there in the mix. If Austin Simmons is good, what does Ole Miss? Like, Lane Kiffin plays in a quarterback-friendly system. It seems like you can just bring those guys in and they put up huge numbers. But if Austin's a difference maker,
I think he is,
especially with his legs too. How much different does that look in Oxford? So,
brother, I think Lane's got one, man. Now, everywhere Lane Kiffin has went, he's able to develop and put up monster numbers in production from that position. Hey, we can even go back to, for Alabama fans and fans within the state of Alabama and college football fans, remember, Jalen Hurts was the offensive player of the year in the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah.
He had Blake Sims throw for over 2 bills, 2,000 for a season, in a group that went to the play. But for those that remember, Tide fans remember, college football fans remember, Blake Sims was an athlete caliber type player and moved him to quarterback. His teammates rallied behind him to get the job. He was the quarterback for Alabama and got them to the college football playoff and lost to the eventual champion Ohio State, who was a freak show of a roster that year. People may remember, you may have heard of a guy named Ezekiel Elliott, and Cardale Jones just went nuts in that contest. But more importantly, the defensive line for Ohio State was absolutely insane. Michael Thomas on that team. So, no matter where Lane has been, he's thrived, and we've been able to see what he was able to do with Jackson Dart. But I think that he's got potential. Put it this way: the talent jumps off the charts with Austin Simmons. We all watched the Georgia game and the small sample size that it was. The one thing I always gave credit to Kirby when he was at Alabama, and when he's at Georgia, and the same thing for Nick Saban, is that it was already difficult enough for you to try to win with your starter. But anytime that you had to deal with a backup, they made the backup forget average. I don't even, whatever you can put below average, under the gutter. And to see a guy be that poised in a very pivotal time in that contest, as Ole Miss hosted Georgia in the rain, him come in and just without hesitation, nowhere to go with the football, and to end a scoring drive was very, very impressive. So we know the production is going to be there. We just want to see what level can Austin Simmons' talent take the Ole Miss offense relative to a few unknowns that we don't know about relative to last season with Ole Miss. I'm assuming you believe that there's going to be 4 teams that are going to come out of the SEC in the playoff. Is that a fair assessment, or do you think they only get 3?
I think they get 4. I think this college football playoff committee will not have an Indiana SMU type situation. this year. I think they learned their lesson.
And, remember, we're back to general seeding now. So there's no conference. Your conference champion is not going to be automatically granted a first round bye. It's going to be seeded 1 through 12.
That's our guy Greg Sankey just throwing his weight around right there.
Correct.
I think that after they picked Indiana and SMU, Greg Sankey probably left a very nasty voicemail on somebody's phone. And when you are the commissioner of what is the most profitable conference in college athletics, keep in mind SEC basketball this season also went ridiculous. Excellent. Dominated the country. You get to do things like that, as you should.
Man, but the question is, who are the... If we have to think off the top of our head, we both can, as we mentioned, come to a consensus that Texas is going to be one. I think Texas and Alabama for sure. Those two teams, I believe they can win it all, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to be shot. Listen, once again, we have to train our minds and brains to understand. It's going to be very, very rare for us to have undefeated national champions. Teams are, because of the caliber of teams you're going to probably be playing relative to, if we find out that strength of schedule is a marker there for better seeding and stuff within the league, within the college football playoff. But man, I think Alabama can win it. I think Texas can win it. Georgia has Georgia has some unknowns, but of course the quarterback position is the biggest. But I don't know, Patrick, I'm going to be real. I don't know who the fourth team... You know what? We've legitimately been having this recap podcast for close to a little over an hour, whatever it is. And we still keep going back to, we haven't said a word about Texas A&M. You briefly mentioned them.
Yeah.
And relative to, as far as for college football fans that just, and guys and women that follow this and daily, if you look at their roster man for man relative to the rest of the league, they're one of the top 4 rosters arguably in the league, and maybe knocking on the door to Texas's, and outside of Texas and outside of Georgia and outside of maybe Alabama, they may be the 4th best roster across the board. And as you mentioned, if Marshall Reed takes quote unquote what everyone is hoping to take the next step, here we are. And as you mentioned, Patrick, with all of that said, last year they were 1 game away from playing for the conference championship. One game away.
That's it.
And could have made the playoff.
Yep.
Le'Veon Moss is hopefully back and healthy. Just an exciting time for all of the SEC, for sure. So
as there's a car that's run off the ditch here.
Yeah, that's why we're just slowing down.
This is what y'all doing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's rained here. That could be very scary.
Yeah. Everybody looks okay though.
Yeah, everybody looks okay.
They just look, as Carl's gonna you need to. Thankfully, there's no video evidence. As emergency crews are trying to get to this car, and old Prather's just keeping on going like ain't nothing happening.
Smoking the bandit, man.
Just running right up to the lights. Old poor guy's trying to turn around, give these people some help. Man, oh man, give me Texas A&M. Give me South Carolina.
Before we get it, you know what? I can't wait to throw you out of this car. I'm even sick of looking at you. That's how bad it is right now. You hate it. You hating on.
What about? I haven't done
Kelly.
anything. Yeah, but I haven't changed. You got to at least give me credit for not changing.
Never change.
Never change.
Never change. That's a great JC song, by the way. Never change.
Yeah.
Texas A&M. You like Texas A&M to be the 4th?
Yeah, I've made up my mind now. Texas, Alabama, South Carolina, Texas A&M.
Give me for your conference championship game, SEC championship at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in December. Give me your for sure what you really believe is going to happen, and then give me a hot take. And it can be the same thing. But I got a hot take, and I got what I really believe is going to happen.
Give me Texas, Bama. That's what I think is going to happen with Texas winning.
Okay, I got Texas, Bama. I think Texas is going to win. And then your hot take matchup.
The hot take
All right,
matchup.
I've had mine, and I really feel confident about it.
What are you going to say, Oklahoma, Auburn?
That's it.
Boy,
Bingo,
you love these Auburn team. You love this Auburn team. I
loved them last year.
You famously predicted them last year.
I did.
And then it got real bad real fast.
It did. You just hope that, listen, you don't turn over the football. You run the football more. When you have an all-SEC back, you get a little bit more better consistency in production from some elite prospects. Hey, I thought they would be a 9-win plus team. I definitely think they could be a 9-win plus team this year, especially if they go to Baylor and that rabid fan base and hostile environment, they're going to have a blackout there, and they curb stomp them. I really feel good.
It will definitely turn some heads in college football.
I really feel. Okay, so let me ask you this: who has the better? Who will make more of a statement for college football in Southeastern Conference fans? Auburn winning at Baylor or LSU winning at Clemson?
I think Auburn winning at Baylor. I think it depends on the fashion.
Yeah.
If LSU comes out and beats Clemson by 5 touchdowns, then I think that's a different story.
Got it.
But if LSU Clemson is close, and like you said, Auburn goes into Waco and puts on a show with new transfer quarterback Jackson Arnold, who was one of the highly touted recruits when he was coming out of high school, then I think that would be the bigger story. Well, that'll be the second story, because the first big story will be Texas Ohio State week 1, and we might get the crowning of Arch Manning as the uniter of nations, Lisa Al-Gaib, if he goes into Columbus and puts on a show.
I'm assuming all the college football shows are there that day.
I would imagine, yes. I don't know how you. That's a
crazy. August 30th, folks, is a crazy slate of games, and I'm excited for sure. We got some amazing matchups. We hadn't mentioned. You got Notre Dame, Miami Labor Day weekend as well. Notre Dame at Miami, breaking in C.J. Carr. I think
Carson Beck
at Miami. I think Notre Dame's going back to the
no
playoff.
One's talking about. What if Carson Beck turns it around? I mean, 2 seasons ago, that dude might have been the number 1 pick in the draft.
Which is wild to think about.
Yeah.
Right? First half, what a difference quarters make at this point. I mean, first half of that Georgia-Alabama game, Jalen Milroe, hypers in the top shades of the world were probably oh yeah.
Salivating.
It just, my goodness. Carson Beck. Yeah. A, hope he's healthy. B, they should have a pretty solid football team. I think offensive line should be a little bit better. Of course, Mario Cristobal, the head coach for the Hurricanes, a good, expertise in offensive line play. So we shall see. But man, I'm excited for August 30th. I think as we move toward the next couple of weeks, we'll be on Wednesdays, kind of back in our time slot. We're going to have some really cool guests lined up here in the coming weeks as well. We'll start kind of looking at a national picture as well. So the big question is, should we pick our 12 teams that are going to make the college football playoff? Do we do that? And we got to pick a national champion, right?
Well, I mean, we have to at some point, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it the week of not week 0, but week 1.
Yeah, because I got to get my 12 teams together.
Yeah, you gotta kind of look.
I gotta see what's going on. I'll tell you that I don't like Penn State the way everybody likes Penn State. That'll tell you that.
They're for sure going to playoff though.
I mean, sure, but I'm not buying Drew Aller. Wait. And I'm not buying the Penn State.
Wait, hold on, player. Brother, you don't think they're going to make the playoff?
No, I do think they will make the playoff.
Okay, whoa. If they don't make the playoff...
No. They'll make the playoff.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't buy the hype that everyone is throwing on the Nittany Lions.
Oh, I think Penn State beat writers and fans of Penn State and college football fans in general, basically, much like myself, it's going to be if not now, when, right?
Right. It's the Lane Kiffin question.
Yeah, that's fair too. So we shall see. College football is right around the corner. SEC Media Days was awesome. Let's before we get off here, because this is very important, riveting podcasting for the 2.5 people that watch this. We were discussing at lunch today best ice cream flavors, and everyone looked at me like I was not everyone. You were on my side, and that's why I can somewhat trust you. And there's another young lady that was there. She felt the same way. I believe the vanilla is the best flavor of ice cream known to man, especially if it's Bluebell ice cream. Vanilla slaps. Am I wrong about that?
No, you will get no argument from me on that.
And then after that, you got to rock with the chocolate chip cookie though.
Yes. Correct.
Then in any other flavors, you can do chocolate. You can do cookies and cream, and then butter pecan ice cream.
Yeah. Rocky Road. Does Bluebell do a Rocky Road? Or Moose Tracks? They do Moose Tracks.
Moose Tracks. What is Moose Tracks? I don't never know what
it's. It's vanilla with a little bit of caramel with, I believe, little peanut butter cups.
Okay. I've never had Moose Tracks.
Yeah, I think that's Moose Tracks.
Love vanilla ice cream. Listen, you can't go wrong with Bluebell vanilla ice cream. It's just, there's so many things that you can do with vanilla ice cream. It's kind of like the color gray. You can match it and match it with everything, right?
Yeah.
Excellent flavor. But one young lady was telling me Bluebell has a, what was it called? She said it was
cookie two-step cookie two-step.
You've had it, Patrick?
Yeah.
Man, that's like all of the worlds colliding. Like I've never had. Tell them what it is.
It's comes in a blue container, and it's half cookies and cream, half cookie dough.
I need that.
Cookie two-step.
What's the color of the outside of the tin?
It's blue.
Blue,
black writing. Can we talk about escalators for 1 second?
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not around escalators for a large part of my life because I don't stay in bougie places like the Omni Hotel.
Right.
But are you the type of person that just, when you are getting on an escalator, do you just keep walking or do you stop and think about it for a second, have to look down before you step onto an escalator?
Good point. It's a motor reaction for me. Ironically enough, probably 99.99% of the time, anytime that I'm attempting to get on a moving escalator, I always look down.
There were so many people this week that just kept walking, like they were so sure of themselves. And I don't know if that I've ever possessed that much confidence in my life to just step on an escalator.
I saw something really scary when I was a kid on a show. Have you ever heard of Rescue 911?
Yeah.
Okay, so Rescue 911 was wildly popular in the 90s, along with Unsolved Mysteries, who has arguably the scariest music of all time. But Rescue 911 had a story, and it was this kid. I don't know if it was a girl or a boy, but anyhow, at a mall, and the kid's clothing got caught in the freaking escalator steps. I don't know how that happened, and kept dragging the kid, and the force was so strong that it was like the clothing was cutting the kid's skin. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I was like, that freaked me out as like young CP. I was like, look down. So like, it's just like, I get what you're saying, because if for those that fly a lot and you go on those long tarmacs and they got that moving escalator thing that you can stand on, people just like hop on there and just like walk.
But that's flat though.
Correct.
That's flat. Like,
but I saw that a lot too. I see that a lot with escalators. That freaks you out?
It doesn't freak me out. I'm just kind of like baffled by it, because I'm like, that's something that I just don't have in my brain, to just not be able to not stop and make sure that I'm for sure putting my foot on an escalator as it goes up and turns into stairs, because my foot's the wrong way. What happens if I'm like in between, and then it starts to go up, then I fall backwards, then look like a big dumb idiot in front of all these people that I'm never going to see again, but I'm always, then I'm going to know about it. Yeah, and then if I crack my head open, how many people die cracking their head open? And so many of these folks just kept walking like it was nothing was happening. On the phone, just look it up.
Yeah,
wild.
I didn't see a lot of it. The only thing that chapped my at the Omni Hotel. So the way that they had us situated, everyone, they had, as I mentioned, us in a separate room on a separate floor. They have basically meeting room floors, right? In what world do you not have a set of bathrooms on every floor in the meeting room? We had to go up. We had to go up a floor to go to the bathroom. There was not one bathroom on that floor. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
Do we need to? First of all, the other thing is,
should we write a letter, make a formal complaint about the bathroom situation at the Omni, and the fact that one stall just continuously flushed for like 27 minutes after you got up?
You know what? One thing I've always laid claim to, and I said I will never do. I never wanted to write a letter to complain about something to someone, like a company.
Yeah, but if we can just chat GPT it, we can have chat GPT do all the work
and
get the satisfaction of complaining about it without having to do the work of complaining about it.
That's a good point. Here's the one thing I will complain about. I'm not going to complain about that. I'm just going to leave that to myself. Well, here's what I would tell you. How amazing were the people in Atlanta this week inside the hotel? All of our service staff, amazing. Listen, I love Atlanta.
Well, that's because you're Mayor CP. First of all, you have to come around every time you come to all these places. Is it true or not true that everyone from all across the Southeast, all these stations, come up and say, "Hey, what's up, Carl?" Come up to you. They don't come up to anybody else. You are the mayor of southeastern local TV stations that cover football teams? Yes or yes?
I don't recall.
Yes, he is.
No.
Mayor Carl Prather, everyone.
Hold on. How did this go from whatever years Mayor CP, Mayor Carl, to like saying how awesome the service staff was at the Army?
But of course they're awesome. It's a high dollar hotel. They have to be.
You got some people. You've been places where people have stank attitudes. Stop it.
Yeah, Red Roof Inns, not Omni hotels.
Hold on, bro.
I've been to some Super 8s.
Hold on. When the last time you been at Red Roof Inn?
Well,
thank you. Don't do that.
Plead the fifth.
Don't do that.
I just want to talk about the fact that you're shaking hands and kissing babies at these things. If you ran for office, you'd win in a landslide.
Dude, I've been in one place for 16 years. Like, I'm old. They're like, people know who the heck I am solely because I've outlasted other people. That's all. Again,
not saying it's a bad thing, just saying that it is a thing that you seemingly have not really acknowledged on this podcast of these people.
Dude, everybody was cordial in there. Like, what do you mean? Everybody was talking.
Didn't nobody say hi to me?
Because you're a curmudgeon.
I'm not curmudgeon. I was standing beside you and nobody said hi to me. And everybody just comes up and says, which, I don't care. But I'm just saying, you might need to think about running for political office. You might have potential there. That's all I'm saying.
I will tell you this, because I love the world of, like, from the outside looking in politics. I will tell you this. If the good man upstairs snapped the fingers and we had to start over again, and he said, you can do anything you want, but you cannot be a sportscaster anymore for your second life, I definitely would be in politics.
You'd be a county commissioner.
No, I would like to be a governor of a state. That's as high as I want to go. I don't want to be president. I don't want to be a mayor. I don't want to be a mayor of a town. Like I would navigate my way through, and then I would be a governor of a state. That would be my.
I don't know if I see governor of state for you. County commissioner, county commissioner that gets the good booth at the Chili's on a Friday night. That's what I see for you. That's what I see. Can we talk
about how overrated Chili's is?
I don't want to get into that because I don't think that's true. I love Chili's and triple dippers and the house margaritas.
There's no seasoning in Chili's.
There is tons of seasoning.
Where?
In Chili's.
What world? There's not, like, they don't have any seasoning.
The one in Florence is good. So I've
eaten Chili's one time.
Well,
with the lovely lady.
So you judging after you've only done something one time.
But man, why would you keep
going back? You need to try
back?
something about 16 times.
Why would you keep going back? It's just like Longhorn is the best chain restaurant steakhouse over Logan's and Texas Roadhouse. Like, that's a fact. Not even negotiable. We know that.
It's negotiable. Again, this is much like the Brian Kelly thing. I feel like I'm being gaslit, and then I get around other people, I hear from other people, and then I've come to find out I'm the same one this whole time. So
man. It's kind of like the Titans, like last year, like when they won every game that I said they were going to win. It's going to be like that this year because LSU is 100% going to. Outside of our guy quarterback be getting injured, don't see it. Just because of the schedule alone.
Well, listen, I'll tell you this: I will trade my hatred for Brian Kelly in a second if it means the Titans make the playoffs and win 17 games. I'll give up my hatred for Brian Kelly. I'm willing to do that.
You don't even need to win 17 games. You just want him to go to the play. You want him to win 6, right? 6, and you're happy with 6 games.
No, I want the playoff. I want one playoff win. That's what I want. This one, folks, there's a car on the side of the road, so this sound of the median is justified.
You know, I didn't want to say anything because I wanted the full effect of me doing that twice. Found it fantastic.
Yeah. Well, we got to let the people know because they can't see, so they don't know what's going on. So
let's get GoPros in here the next time we take a trip and have a recording. Be awesome. We can do that, right? That's legal.
We don't have the budget for it. Is legal. We don't have the budget for GoPros.
Yeah, dude, all the reality TV shows, all the Bravo shows I watch, they have GoPros everywhere.
Yeah, this ain't Love Island. This ain't Love is Blind. This ain't whatever else.
We got time. Can we go into this?
I've never seen any of these shows. So
I've never watched Love Island in my life. What is the obsession with that show? Like there are lovely women across this country that are buying out bars and watching the episodes. First of all, I was trying to figure out why. How is this even possible? Do you know that show? It's a new episode every day. What?
Every day?
Every day, dude.
I didn't know that.
Somebody comment or something and let me know. But I believe that Love Island with that season, it was a new episode every single day. Hey, how's that possible?
Well, that's kind of cool. And here comes the rain.
Love Island, man. Yeah, every day. So that's why everybody was so excited, about the show, because like legitimately, like everybody everybody will watch the show. And it was every day.
We should just go quiet for a second with just ASMR sounds of the rain, just for the people out there. Just like you're ruining the moment. Just let people relax. A moment of zen.
LSU playoffs.
You can't do it. You can't just let people have a moment.
Playoffs.
You gotta get your opinions out there. Please end this. But I'm running out of steam. I need a protein bar.
You don't need hold on, dude.
I had 3 snack wraps.
How the hell you need a protein bar and you just smashed 3 McDonald's snack wraps before you can say episode?
Well, first of all, I didn't know the snack wrap was back, so I was pretty jacked about that.
Hold on, real quick. Snack wrap or McRib?
Snack wrap, without question. Snack wrap.
I don't hate it.
Now, I'm a little disappointed that they don't have the barbecue ones, because that was my favorite back in the day. But yes, I did crush 3 McDonald's ranch snack wraps. That was the second gas station we went to. The first gas station wouldn't take our card, so I got a Crunch bar, a Gatorade, and a protein bar, and I ate the Crunch bar first. Then we had to go to the other gas station. Had a McDonald's. I was like, well, I might as well get some. I was going to get some cheeseburgers, but then I walked in, saw the snack wraps, got that. But that was like 2 hours ago, dude. I'm hungry. You didn't have to call me fat either, by the way, which you just did.
No, you said
that's subtext.
No, you said
subtext. You said, "How are you hungry?"
Yeah, you said you
already ate all this stuff. You fat.
Yeah. Hey, he's talking about he's bulking and stuff because he's out here. He said he's lifting weights. He said he's lifting weights.
I'm doing a permanent bulk for the rest of my life.
He's doing 3 reps per lift.
Yeah, I'm getting heavy and I'm gonna power lift, and I'm gonna try to be a really strong jacked like 80-year-old. That's what I want to be. I got about 50 years to get there, or 6.
How you ain't gonna be seeing your legs if your belly keep.
So you just call me fat. See?
Eating them snack wraps like that, man. You inhaled those things.
Well, yeah. Well, I eat fast. I think in a former life I was in prison for a little bit and had to eat. And
I know somebody.
You gotta eat fast.
I know someone that needs to be a competitive eater. I'm not gonna call her out, but she is. Ooh boy, I'm talking about if you put a plate of food in front of her, she eats so fast. I'm going to send this excerpt to her just for saying this because I'm talking. You think Joey Chestnut got something on her? Man, she is something else.
Remind me to talk about, I've been wanting to talk about Joey Chestnut. Remind me to talk about that next week when we have more time because I think Joey Chestnut might be the most dominant American athlete of all time. But I don't want to say that.
Do you remember that we sat for an hour and talked to Joey Chestnut in San Jose, California?
Yeah, cool guy.
Super cool guy.
We talked to the GOAT.
We do need to discuss that. So competitive eating, I guess they categorize it as a sport. This thing has went completely off rails.
I mean, he's beaten. Yeah, this podcast has. Yeah, we should wrap it up. People have already stopped listening. We've probably done 10 minutes just by ourselves into the ether.
Yeah, just like if you get to this point, really turn it off. Like, subscribe, take after take. Wrapped up SEC Media Days. We're excited about the college football season. That's just around the corner. We are available on all podcast platforms that are available to you. Feel free to like, subscribe, drop a comment or two about how terrible this podcast is at any time. We embrace all. Come one, come all. Our doors swing on open hinges. For producer Pat, I'm Carl Prather. I'm going to drive into this cornfield over here, and we'll see you next week.